Hello and welcome to another episode of Exteriors by Gary Whillock. This should be our final day on this project. This project has taken several days more than we expected. We've had rain interruptions and a lot of wind. This sets very high above the lake and very subject to a lot of wind, a lot of things. A little more difficult to get this one done than we expected. But the key thing is every detail we've been sure has been covered, and we're down to the final stretch now. The guys are installing a little more hip and ridge. We've got some panels to install on the entry roof, which is the other side of the house. This is the back, as you can see, the swimming pool behind me. Got two guys working on the roof now, one on the ground, cutting the parts and pieces for them, and it's starting to come together. Now, we're going to make sure that all the pipes, and you see a couple of pipes on the back here, you see the one pipe up there, those will be painted, they'll be primed, and we're going to use the best primer, the best Kelly Moore AcroShield paint that we have found lasts longer than any outside. Now, let's talk about what has been done on this. The removal of the roof, the installation of an ice and water shield. We use Tarco PS 200, and we have found that the easiest to walk on. Even when it's wet, it is not very slippery. Obviously, metal roofs are very slippery when they're wet, so once we get sprinkles, man, it's just over on most of the metal roof work. Unless you get a lot of wind, it dries it off real quickly. Now, we've installed this metal roof in a way that it will last and last. We've got the split sheet application for all the penetrations, and I think we have 7 penetrations on this house. One of them is actually the kitchen vent, which you should be able to see right there on the roof. Currently it is still black, and it is the kitchen penetration. The kitchen pipe was only 6-inch, but we installed a 7-inch vent on it. Then I had a transition pipe to go to that 7-inch, because a lot of times on the hood they are 7-inch and it's required, and you really don't want to go back and make the change after the roof is complete. So we've prepared for that in case they want to 10 years down the road do an upgrade for their kitchen vent. Inside the attic, there's one area that we were concerned about bracing not being there, so that was installed prior to the guys even starting to install the metal. Behind each one of the areas where the water comes down, we were very, very fortunate that the builder built it in a way that we could get the rafter, the actual fascia, up off of the roof and slide that panel underneath each one of those. So this is absolutely watertight with the metal, not relying on caulk and luck to keep the house dry. And we had a serious downpour last night, both here and in Austin. This is actually about an hour north of Austin, and this is up on a hill. Lake surrounds it, and they get a lot of wind, a lot of downpour rains, and occasionally hailstorms come through that are quite prevalent in this area, just to the nature of the landscape and kind of the hill country and the lakes that form. So this roof is going to be the last one they probably ever have to do. 24 gauge Kynar coated steel, and as you can see, it is quite lovely on this house, the swimming pool, and you see so much of the roof. It is an absolutely perfect match to this brick. I think they did a great job picking that. Now, we spent quite a bit of time looking at colors, going outside. Always like to see large pieces of the metal, so you can actually pick it very, very well to match very well. Fortunately, they have a lot of contrast too. They got the stone coins on the corners of the house, and that gives that brick a little bit of an offset, and that helps a lot too. I think it's going to be a great look. Now, we're going to be giving you some aerial shots of this, probably some flybys, so you can actually see it very, very close as we wrap up today. Everywhere there's a pipe or penetration, there is a split sheet. Here you can see the double layer sheet. You can see the pipe coming up through it, and there is nothing really relying on caulk. So what he's doing now is priming it. This is a bonding primer. It's a high-strength bonding. It is designed to bond What he's doing now is cutting a piece to block that off so you don't just have that full of wasps